Doug Cosbie was a star tight end for the Dallas Cowboys, but he was a local hero too. In the 1981 NFC Championship game, Cosbie, a South Bay native, scored a late touchdown to give Dallas the lead. It looked like he was going to send the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. And then, this happened.
Looking to throw, and he throws into the end zone. Touchdown!
I was the only guy in the Bay Area rooting for the Cowboys. Felt horrible for Doug and for my favorite team, the Cowboys, and all my 49er friends rubbed it in incessantly and never let me forget it.
Although overshadowed at the time, Cosbie's performance in the clutch quietly signaled the arrival of pro football's next great tight end. Under the guidance of Coach Tom Landry, Doug Cosbie was soon on his way to a career that included 3 Pro Bowl appearances and offensive numbers that would help revolutionize the position.
First thing that you notice about Doug when he came on the team was his ability to run pass routes. He could get downfield. He was very fluid, even though he's playing that tight end position.
In the NFL, Cosbie demonstrated the same freakish talent he'd once shown in high school. He competed in football, basketball, baseball, and track at St.Francis High School in Mountain View. Football coach Ron Calcagno saw a special blend of skills in Cosbie before his senior season of 1973.
When we first started that season, we had the kids run 7 laps. And Doug Cosbie set the record that day for our football program. He beat all our other people by, a minute and a half. So our impression of him was, we got to get him the ball and we got to get him involved as a leader.
Cosbie kept right on running all season long. He helped carry the Lancers to the Central Coast Section Finals. Still, big-time recruiters barely noticed. So Cosbie started his college career locally at De Anza before going on to Holy Cross. But he found his true home upon transferring to Santa Clara University for the 1975 season.
He was always unbelievably reliable. He wasn't a pancake blocker who would run over people, but he was always in the way. He always had the right position. He always had the right technique.
He was long at 6'6". He had a wide wingspan and a big body. He was a tough challenge to match up with all over the field, particularly the goal line.
By the time he graduated, Cosbie held school records for catches, yards, and touchdowns. Those marks were later broken by his biggest fan.
After my sophomore year, our head coach, the great Pat Malley, he thought I could follow in Doug's footsteps if they moved me to tight end. If I'm going to be a tight end, I want my hero's number, and that is when I switched to old number 84.
By the 1979 NFL Draft, Cosbie had plenty of other fans. The Cowboys selected him in the 3rd round. He joined a roster overflowing with household names like Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and some of the biggest personalities in football. Their widespread fame led to the moniker America's Team.
Those guys were crazy. I mean, you had Harvey Martin, you had Too Tall Jones. Hollywood Henderson was on the team at that time. You had these guys that were larger than life.
Doug was an easygoing kind of guy. He's a California guy. So he kind of laid back and, he's very seldom got riled, very seldom got upset. And he's just kind of fit in with the group.
Cosbie had his best years from 1983 to 85, when he averaged more than 50 catches and 700 receiving yards per season. He also scored 16 touchdowns during that span. These were eye-popping numbers for tight ends in those days.
We used to tell Roger Staubach and Danny White, just get it in the area code, okay? We'll make the catch.
He's going for Cosbie, deep. Cosbie has a touchdown, Dallas.
Cosbie retired from the Cowboys after the 1988 season, but his football adventure was hardly over. His coaching stops included being an assistant at Stanford and Cal, and more recently, the head coaching role for the Bergamo Lions of the Italian League.
We're sitting there with the team, first day. Doug goes, okay, we have one team rule. He goes, that's the do right rule. You know what's right, do it. That's the extent of our rules. And, and the kids took it to heart.
Cosbie always knew what was right, which is why so many people feel about him now the way Brent Jones always has. He's someone to root for regardless of what uniform he's wearing.
He's really given back to the game as much as anybody I know, and he's a true Hall of Famer and a Hall of Fame gentleman as well.
He has been such a source of inspiration and help to so many others. He started a scholarship program at St.Francis for minority kids. He's coached on the high school level, and it's more than just coaching fundamentals of football. It's inculcating values, discipline, integrity, humility. That's Doug's calling card.
It's about time the San Jose Sports Hall of Fame enshrined number 84, Doug Cosbie. It's about time. It's about time. All right.
We hear you, Drew. Here's something 49ers and Cowboys fans can finally agree on. Doug Cosbie is now a member of the San Jose Sports Hall of Fame.